Hey, 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 everybody, how y'all doing? Incredible afternoon, y'all. It's been a minute. I mean, I've done live videos, and you've seen like my hands, seen like my body, my heat presses, my desk, but it's been a minute since like I have been on live. Back to business, right? And I'll tell you, it's because doing all that grad stuff, look, no one had any time to be putting on eyebrows, eyeliner. Hell, half the time I was walking around here in Cleo braids. And if someone came to pick up something, I threw a headband wig on. But it was just great to just be comfortable while working. Like, I think that's one of the things that I'm not really looking forward to when we have like a full on brick and mortar is like you got to come to work every single day like ready every single day instead of having those days where it's like, okay, look, I'm here, like I'm going to be working, I'm moving back and forth, I might be sweating, I want to be comfortable, I don't want my clothes to match. That was a really great like 2.5 3 weeks of not worrying about what the heck I had on, if I was matching or anything like that. So heck, I think one day I may have had on a blue and a black croc, but it's all good. We are back to business. I am about to roll out some classes and things like that. Some live. I've missed the Zoom interactions. So, yeah, we are back to business with me being able to do live videos. You can actually see my face. And even we're not talking about select stuff, you don't have to like talk to my screen. So, it is amazing that we have a little bit of a break before I go into like, so there's some things that I want to do like with the summertime and other things that I can do like bigger orders and get like working on some contracts and stuff. So that, and then just it was just it's still a lot going on, but I can breathe a little because grad season is officially wrapped. Like the major part of grad season is officially wrapped. So that's amazing. All right. So let me go ahead and get this all shared out, change my audience and things like that. I'm a little bit late. 12 o'clock normally isn't like a really good time frame for me. Wish I could have gotten on a little bit earlier. But I was in here cleaning up too, because it was still stuff everywhere. Still stuff everywhere. As much as I tried to put stuff in the trash can, not everything made it to the trash can. So had to clean up a little bit so that I could actually go live and it didn't look like a hotmess.com back there. But hello, everyone. Like I said, let's just give me a moment. I am going to share this out. And I just realized, because I just had like ice and my lips are very much so dry. So let's really get back to business to where I'm around here putting on lip gloss after I'm on live. Like I feel like this was a norm. This is part of the tradition of live, and just the normal process of getting on live was throwing on some lip gloss. And my lip gloss is popping. All right, so let's get this all shared out. It's a little process for this, man. I have to change my audience. I have to share it out. I did go and actually I put them in my groups, but I have to go in and like tag because they be tripping sometimes and not really like distributing the videos and stuff. So we're going to go over here. Let's see. All right, so copy that. Let's paste that. Head on over to my other group. Oh, I don't know if it actually did. Hold on. There we go. All right. Let's see. Looks like there was a question posted over here. I didn't see this. Let's see. I actually don't like this whole anonymous thing. Um, I think I may take that out of my groups. Like, I don't understand what's the purpose of posting it anonymously. Like, I think I might just get rid of that out of my groups. But let me just see what this post was. Hello, I need to know what to do. I started getting this when I logged into a program, and if I decline, it does not open the program. How can I get back to the original? And will it delete my files? Select Studio Beta. You just hit agree. Yeah, it's just because you're using the beta version. All right, there we go. Excuse me. Hola. Are you ready for tomorrow? I'm not. As I said, let me go on and get happy today. Although Dion, his stories had me crying this morning. But hopefully I can. I'm praying that I'll get through tomorrow. But yeah, hello, cousin. All righty. So I had to go over there and share. All right. So we're all shared out as much as I'm gonna, probably do. And let's get into this. All right. So I am Shakia, the professor of HSINK365. We are the home of the amazing product line, honestly speaking, where we carry the absolute best sublimation ink, sublimation paper. We also have pigment ink. We have some other accessories as well. If you don't know, our sublimation paper challenged the norm, right? And as advertised, 365, you can sublimate as low as 365 degrees as fast as 30 seconds. I have done this and shown it tons of times, like time and time again in live demonstrations where there's no editing, there's no smoke and mirrors, setting that heat press to 365 and pressing for seconds, whether it's my Hotronics one, I will say that the one over there, the timer is off, so it wasn't quite 30 seconds, but even with my easy presses, whether it's my Cricut one, my Vivora one, I have shown time and time again that it really does work for you to be able to utilize lower temps and times. Now, you may have to fluctuate that, but like I said, it's as low as. So if your heat press allows for that temperature and it's even temp and you're able to get even pressure, you can sublimate and get great results with those settings as well, saving yourself time and money and energy because you don't have to have your heat presses up to those really, really high temps, and you can just, move on to the next order and secure more of the bag. So definitely check out our products over on shop.hs365.com. All right. Over there, you're also going to find our classes. All classes are shot in front of a live Zoom audience, and they are available for unlimited playback for a lifetime of the site. Because if anything happens there, you may have to wait for me to kind of like switch things out. But you're able to just go back and watch as many times as you need when it comes to those classes. And we have some new ones rolling out. If there's anything that you are interested in specifically, definitely let us know and we'll see if we can get that on the schedule. But that is 365 Creative Academy. And that's where I just help you to unlock your creativity in a wide variety of classes. I mean, everything from Select Studio to Photoshop to doing like the actual projects and things like that. So check out our offerings. You can also find those and purchase them over on hsink365.com. Make sure that you subscribe, you like, you follow, all that kind of good jazz to all of our social media platforms, whether it's Soloholics Anonymous, Honestly Speaking, or like on TikTok, it's Shakia the Professor. Make sure that you're just following there because you never know where I'm going to pop up at and what information will be on each platform. Also the Ink Zone. I'm going to be rolling out some things there because I am finally able to do start working on Leonardo, which is the design software for the Caesar, Romeo, and like Juliet and Romeo and Juliet machines. So I'm actually going to start a new series and we're going to take a first look. Like, this is not going to be a, hey, I know this, I'm going to teach you. We're going to look at this and explore it together, where I'm going to, I got it. I haven't even unboxed it yet because we're doing all the grad stuff. I didn't really have any place to put it. But now I want to, now that I have like it's slowed down, I want to go ahead and get into Leonardo. So I'm going to start a series over on the Honestly Speaking. So of course, it's nothing to do with Silhouette. So it won't be on Soloholics Anonymous. It's going to be on my Honestly Speaking platforms, maybe even the Ink Zone, where we're going to take a look at Leonardo's design studio. All right. So I'm going to, work through learning, what it is that it does. Does anything correlate with Silhouette Studio and Photoshop and all that kind of good jazz. All right. Hold on one second. All right. Let me put my phone on Do Not Disturb. Okay. So yeah, I'm sorry. That threw me off because the phone rang and it's someone that's coming to pick up a print, but I don't know why they're still sitting outside. All right. So anywho, check all that out. And like I said, we are back. Like, there's a lot in the pipeline coming out. I have that. I have some things that I have to finally demo that I got from the impression show. So things from Econo Transfers. I have some blanks and things that I got from Johnson's Plastics Plus that I need to do. So like I said, I'm ready to get back to business because grad season always takes me out of rotation. And I may end up having a session like with those who, are enrolled in like my business things. And, I'm going to probably schedule a session, those who are in the business program and like some other things, or maybe even open it up to just really talk about, how this season went with, and how it affected us with trying to do the print shop, but also like, how did it affect the teaching side of my business, or even just being able to promote and actively promote the product line, because we kept having sales and things like that with the Heat winning. And I just tried to put out a post and keep posting that so people know, like, hey, just pay attention to the schedule and see if the Heat won, because I wasn't really going live and things like that talking about the sales. They do play today. Hopefully we win today. If there will be a discount as of the end of the game up until 11:59 p.m. the following day. But it getting into like all of the print shop stuff, it really did affect the like the other part of the business that I've been building, and which was like our money maker. So I wanted to kind of explore like with expanding and scaling. And so I do want to kind of have a real discussion about what that looked like for the past month and how it affected the rest of the business. So I will probably schedule that with those who are enrolled in the creative business program. All right. Yeah, let's see what questions we have. This is a general Q&A. So because you can see my face, you don't have to look at the screen while we do the Q&A. Hold on one second. Oh, you know what? Let's see. Okay. Anywho, Let's see. Let's go into our question. So, have you experienced chronic crashing with Silhouette software using the Epson? I don't have an F570, so I cannot answer that. I don't know anything about printing directly to that particular printer from Silhouette Studio. So, fortunately, can't answer that one. I did a tumbler yesterday for 365, 3.5 minutes in my toaster oven, and it came out great using your paper. Awesome. I tried your trick. Oven temp and time works amazingly. It's not a trick though. It's just a process. Like I don't call that as a trick. It's just what the process is. But I'm glad it worked for you. I like e-commerce transfers. Yes, so I have some things and some products like for Sublimation that they have, kind of like their version of like Easy Subly and like other products. So I can't wait to try that out. I just got a request if I can do grad fans, which I've never done. Do you have a video to instruct? So there's a bunch of them. It just really depends on how you want to do them. I've done a couple of videos and I was showing it. I have a whole class. So the crash course was basically just using one of my templates. I kind of went through, okay, well, they give you this type of picture. What can you do? X, Y, and Z. And then we have the boot camp where I showed a bunch of different ways that it can be done, because you can use just a regular printer and do a regular print and cut within a regular printer, and then you can use your Cameo or your Cricut and do a regular print and cut. You can do sublimation where you just cut. So I laminated cardstock and I then you go and you cut it out and you have your sub print and then you just tape it to it. So I showed how to do that. You can do the ones with the Dollar Tree paddles, and you can do the ones I also did somewhere I use my, what's that thing called? My Roland. So it's all just about designing. We have tons and tons of files and templates that make it really easy. Well, all you have to do is just change out the name and the colors, add their picture to it. I am one where I didn't do those ones that had 30,000 pictures to it. I'm like, that was just too much for me and a whole lot. There's designs where some people did the 2023 and they had pictures in every number. So it's no different, guys. If you notice, like, I don't typically tend to do a lot of like classes as if like this is like some new age stuff and this is gonna blow your mind. Like if you've seen me do a fan, like it's the same no matter what. When I did the memorial ones, it's the same for a grad fan. I am one where I don't typically tend to do like a lot of like adding a picture. I keep it real simple. Let me get one good picture. We're going to put that sucker on there and we're going to make it do what it do. But if you've watched me do any amount of print and cuts, if you've watched me sublimate anything, it's all the same. And then you're just going to take your sticks and put it to the back. Some people just use the regular paint sticks. Like you can get them from Amazon where they don't have the ruler lines on it, and you can glue that. It just makes it where it's enough for them to like just show it, right? I like to make mine where they're actually fans, like, and they have some weight and some wind behind them. Actually, here's one right here that was, well, actually, this wasn't. So this doesn't even have sticks on it. So some people will want it just like this, right? They don't necessarily want a fan. You can do this, and it's basically just a fathead poster, and it's just paper. Like there's no sticks to it. So if they want to just woo, like they can do that. I mean, technically, this still has some wind behind it. It's just about whether or not you want it like this, where it's just paper. I mean, this can be bent, this can be rolled, and then you have some that actually has a handle to it. All right. So it just depends. And then there's different price points because setting this up and doing this is more steps, more material because of the sticks. But this is still an option. Like if they're just wanting something just to kind of hold up at graduation, this works, and it can be a more cost-effective way of doing it. And so I'll show you this. So like if you look at this one, and then look at this one. So they're the exact same setup, well, almost. So this one has the same bottom and it says graduate. So we have all of these different things on our website. So I have that. I will say it was kind of awesome. There's some that didn't purchase our template, but to know that they're watching our content, watching our videos, or they're seeing my post, and then they were inspired to try to design it. When I say try, but they designed their own version of it. So I've seen the ones out there that were their own version of our design, and having this flag at the bottom, and then the stitching, and then like how they did the class of 2023. So that was pretty interesting and pretty cool to see. So like we have that one, like this is, so I basically just do one single one and just keep it real simple. Like that's just me. Keep it real simple. And then you have like, so then there was this version, right? And then there was this one. So same exact template, same exact layout. I mean, the names, of course, are changed. And I just added a little extra to his because he only had 3 letters. So I added congratulations on the side. And I think I made the class up a little bit more masculine, but for overall, it's about the same thing. So there's tons and tons of videos. If you saw me do it for a party or whatever, it's all the same. You're just putting grad stuff on it. Incredible afternoon. Hey, Angela. Happy to be back. I've missed these live videos. What's the standard size? There is no such thing as a standard size. I've seen some people do them really, really small because they only wanted to put a stick, like one little stick behind it, and that keeps it from bending. And some people want a large one. There is no standard size. It's about the equipment that you have. If you have an 8.5 by 11-inch printer, that's as big as you're going to get. If you have a wide format printer, you can choose to do them still where you're getting 2 11 by 17 or do a large one. And then the size of them is going to vary because all of the pictures are different. Like I said, I go over all of that in the graduation fan boot camp. So that's a place where you're going to get a lot of information about like the back end of it, understanding about the different pictures that you're going to get if something is cut off. Like, I like having different varieties for fan templates because I have to, make a decision based off of the picture that they're giving to me. They're giving to me. So what if it wasn't like a high resolution one? I may not want to make it where it's something that's big like this and the picture's kind of pixelated. Their picture might be better suited so where it's more in a smaller format. But like I said, we go through understanding these different pictures and about sizing, about timing, like how long it takes to do these different things. All that is in that particular class, okay? She says, if you haven't already take the course, you will not regret it. Thank you so much for that. All right, y'all, where are my questions? Like we are back to business. Y'all know how I feel about answering questions. Like I want these live videos when I'm doing this to be very helpful for you guys. Before I go back to that, if everything's like a class, or people feel like everything is like a class. Man, of course, that's what our business is. But when I'm doing these sessions, I want to see the information that you guys need. I want to be able to help. So definitely ask questions. Don't just sit around and wait for someone else to, oh yeah, that's good. Like that's good information. You be the one to go out and, get the answers that you need, especially if you're like, well, I can't afford all of these classes. You have someone who is an industry expert in a lot of these different areas who was on and saying, hey, all I need for you to do is post a question. The more you actually are typing your questions, it's helping the algorithm. Give the video a thumbs up, give it a like, share it out, tag a friend. And that helps, build awareness for our business and bring more people in. So that, for the services that we have, like that's taken care of it. And I'm able to continue to do these videos for you guys to help you, wherever you are in your journey. So when it comes to pricing, I think I talked about it, but for pricing, it's subjective to each person. I will never say that there is a specific price that you should charge. I don't know what type of paper you're using. So there are some people that may choose to use very inexpensive paper for the bag. And then for some of them, I use koala paper. So I use photo paper. So it had like a glossy back to it. I don't know what it is that you're using. Or to say like what the price point should be. I don't know who your audience is. Is your audience someone who's going to value, paying $7, $10 for to what to them is just paper. Some people do them where they're offering just like $3 fans. Like the price range has varied so much. I don't know, what your overhead is. So that's where my business classes come in at. Classes that are about the product and making it, it's about understanding that, and then looking at where you're getting it from. And you just have to know, no matter what projects you're doing, how to determine your prices. I don't know if you're simply working off of templates, or are you giving someone a custom design? Are you charging a design fee? There's just so many factors to it. That's where our business classes come in at. Like when we did pricing by the numbers, I really broke that down for you to understand, what you should be pricing things at. But there were just so many different ranges. I've been in this a really long time, and how I operate in the equipment that I have, to where maybe my turnaround time can be faster. So I'm going to charge a premium price versus somebody else who may not have all of the equipment. So there's a lot of factors and a lot of variables when it comes to pricing. I don't have a recommendation for it because, again, I don't know what printer you have. Not all printers can handle the same paper. If it has a tray, thicker paper may get stuck in there. You might be using a laser printer. When I did the ones for Sublimation, it didn't matter what cardstock, because the star of the show was the laminate that goes on top. So I can put that on, really cheap, inexpensive cardstock. So it's just cardstock, and you have to know what's going to work best for you. Some people decided to do theirs on glossy paper, or some people did them and then they laminated them, like they printed on regular paper and then they laminated it. So yeah, I have a lot of cardstock, a lot of cardstock. Sometimes we can't look for a specific answer, only look for suggestions. Doing the fans is not just about like selecting the paper. I'm the type of person, how I teach, it's learning it in sections, right? Let's not worry about paper, because if I go and I tell you the paper that I use, right? If I have a business where I want to use the best of the best, and I'm using a paper where, let's say, each sheet is going to cost me $5. These are going to be outrageous numbers, but let's just say that, well, I want to use a pearlescent paper, and this paper is $5 a sheet. But I know that this is the type of stuff that my audience wants, right? My customer base wants. So yeah, it's $5 a sheet. So I have to start like at least making that back. That's not including any ink, any sticks or anything like that. So I may have a fan that at the end of the day might cost $15-$20 because I'm using higher quality products and papers and things like that. But if you're just learning out, if you need to know how to put your sticks down, how to glue it to where you don't have glue everywhere, how to master your cuts, do that with just some regular cardstock. Learn the process first. I am a teacher that teaches that way, that like learn the process. Once you have that down and you've done some practice on it, now, transition to where, okay, these are the things that we're going to use for actual business, because you're going to be upset with yourself if you are learning this and you spent this money. And I go and I tell you to get this expensive paper and you're still trying to figure it out, and you're messing up printing cuts. Your colors are wrong when you print them out via sublimation, all these different things. They're going to be frustrated and you're going to want to give up. Learn it. Like, you have to practice it first before it becomes something that you're going to sell. That's how I teach. Those templates are very, very helpful. Y'all grab them if and when you can. Try them out ahead. See, try them out ahead of time. Exactly. You will not regret the investment. Exactly. See, I didn't even see that part, and that was just confirmation on it. Definitely try it out before you go and you're actually selling it. Practice on it first. Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing. Hey, what we looking at? What we looking at? You got a question? You got a question? What we looking at? How you doing today? Do you have a template with the elephant as shown in previous lives? What elephant? I have no idea what you're talking about. Which elephant? I've done a lot of live videos, not sure what you're referring to, and a template for what exactly? Professor, how do I get rid of the lines on the t-shirts from the heat press? If you're doing sublimation, you're going for me and my process for what I do, I go and I turn the pressure up, uh put your paper, make sure that your paper goes over the edge of your shirt. And I just press it again for about 10 to 12 seconds or 12 to 15 seconds. And that knocks out that line of demarcation. I also don't use heavy pressure. I hear so many people teaching about sublimation. They're saying you need heavy pressure. Who told y'all this? Have y'all ever tried it with medium to like just even pressure on it? So if you have your heat press dialed up to where that paper is digging into your shirt, even if you do that second press, it's not going to really come out. It also depends on the shirt that you're using, because I have some shirts where the way that they're made, that line just doesn't fully go away. So there again is a lot of factors to it. But one of the main things that I do is I adjust my pressure to where now it's heavy pressure, and I close it down for about 10 to 12 seconds or 12 to 15, depending on the heat press that you are using. I got my LLC last January and been paying for my website since last May. My business have only made $700, and now it's time to renew my website, which is $379. Is it worth it? If you're going to utilize it, of course, it's going to be worth it. Even if so of course, having the website and paying for that with you doing your taxes is always going to be great to have that deduction to say, okay, hey, even if I made $700, 300 of that had to go towards this website, whether you were using it or not. And that's going to help bring your tax liability down. So it just, again, depends on how you look at things. I know for myself, this is one of the things that I'm going to talk about when I get into the business one. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a snippet. I really wish I would have had my print side website fully set up functional so that people can go there and just even if we talk and they say, okay, this is what I want to order, they were able to go on there and just select it and place the order. Because when I'm going and I'm moving and grooving, I told y'all I was in here looking like Who Shot John. I didn't care if my clothes matched, didn't have wig on. I was in here just grinding it out, which is why a lot of times you just saw my chest, you saw my hands. I was trying to avoid being in the camera. So if I'm in here grinding it out, to have to stop and send an invoice, I don't ever want to go back to that again. Having to send people invoices is ghetto in business. I don't ever want to go back to that. So I know that especially for the next part that's coming up and things where it's going to be a lot of orders could potentially come in, I got to get this website set up. So for me, having a website is paramount. It's crucial to have a website, but you have to actually put in the work and time to make it worth it financially. But for your sanity, definitely worth it if it's set up properly. Pricing by the numbers is the truth. Get it. Exactly. I need to get back motivated because since I launched last year, I haven't gotten any sales. So there's a difference between being motivated to actually create. So you're saying haven't gotten any sales? Is it not being motivated to promote, not motivated to create? Are the sales because you just simply were not doing business? You weren't really open for business because you weren't motivated, so you weren't promoting it. You just have to really, weigh that out, right? And a lot of people talk about business, and some people are not ready for what a business is. Just simply making a fan or making a tumbler, making these things is not what business is. There's so many other factors. And now with social media, that just adds another layer on top of everything else that it takes to run a successful business. Because now you're trying to figure out how to balance it and have a social media presence. And then we feel well, I'm not making enough money to hire a social media manager or hire people or pay people for them to do the content. Social media just adding on another layer of marketing. It was simpler. Don't get me wrong, I like the fact that your brand or your business can get out there faster through social media and more people have access to it. More people outside of my local area can see what it is I do. But I miss the days of, hey, I got a business card. I'm gonna go through the line at McDonald's, and when I give the lady or whoever, not lady or whoever the person is who's collecting money, I'm handing them a business card for them and the girl who just came up here to ask a question. You know, when I go pick up my food, go to the window to get my food. Hey, here's a card for you, the person on the fries. They're like, hey, this is what I do. Like, it was easier for me to not have to worry about creating content, whether or not my hands are ashy to put them in the video. You know, I used to stress all the time about having on press on nails because, you know, I didn't, you know, it's all visual and, you know, videos last forever. Y'all folks like to take screenshots. Y'all like to screen record. So it was just too much. Like, doing all of this social media stuff sometimes is very overwhelming. I miss the days of, here go a business card, like this what I do. Like, didn't have to worry about one. Okay, well, what's your Instagram? You ain't got enough pictures. You don't have this. Ghetto. Like, it's annoying as hell sometimes doing business in this era. And then now everything is print on demand, press on demand. Then you got KDP, and you got digital this and digital that, and it's all this thing about like numbers and, oh, are you making 6 figures? Are you making 7 figures? Like, it's Jesus, it can be a lot. So if it's the business part that's keeping you from being motivated, it's okay for it to be a hobby that makes you some extra money and you don't have to worry about the stressors of it all. Hey, if you get an order, you do. But that also means you have to be disciplined and stop buying everything. Stop trying to get on every single trend that you see in groups. Like I'm seeing now, like, you know, it was big for Easter, but now people want to figure out how to do it for Mother's Day and Father's Day and baby showers and those vending machines. If you are not going to actually put in the work to get the sales in, yet you're constantly spending out money, you're going to feel like a failure because I'm not seeing this money come in, but you're not being consistent in like learning and growing. You want to jump on everything. And y'all know I've preached this from the beginning. You can go back to how many videos. I don't do trends. I don't recommend just hopping on a trend. If you're brand new and that's what you're introduced to, all right, let this be my starting point. But if you've already started and you ain't figured this out, and it's not that it's not working, but you haven't even given yourself time to work on that thing that you started with, and just because you see someone else post something, you don't know if they're successful at that. All you're seeing is a post. That could have been their one and only one. Like, we have to stop like letting our eyes get big when we're in all of these different groups. Hello, Professor. What HT do you recommend for t-shirts that will last a long time? What do you consider to be a long time? How often is someone going to wash it? Is it for like a business shirt? Like, do they go out and they fix cars? Do they wash cars with it? Or are they in construction and it's going to be all this stuff on it to where they have to wash it like every single day or every other day, every single week? That is, you know, it's relative to how they're using it. For some, if I have a certain wash machine, I have like the eco one and I don't have like all this extra agitation to it, my shirts might last longer than someone who has the old school one that has like the little drum in it and it's going and it's really, really agitating it. So you can't really say what's going to last a long time, because what defines a long time for one person might be different for someone else. I have shirts that, you know, look great, but I also haven't worn them like, and they're being washed like continuously. Now, I will say one of my go-tos is not necessarily because of it lasting a long time. I love the way that it weeds. I love the way that it cuts. So I like Caesar. It was one that was available to me. I've tried other ones. Like Florida Flex had like just a PU, which is basically one that comes from like overseas. And a lot of these, you know, a lot of them can be made like in China and they will be, you know, decent products, but I know the ones that I came across, I just did not like the way they were made. You know, Caesar's own, they're not made over there. Theirs is made in Italy, and as well as like Stalls. That's where their stuff is produced at. I tried Thermoflex. I did not care for it. Have I tried HTV Ron? No. Do I plan to try it? No. I came across a product that was big in the market, and unlike some, like they have proven time and time again that they are a tried and true product and they're great. So I am partial to using Caesar. And it just has worked for me. And I do really want to try out Stahl's CAD Cut, but it wasn't something that was easily readily available to just be able to go and purchase and like try out. So my go-to really is Caesar. And I like their glitter, but I will say that the lines in the Caesar drives me crazy. So I do try other ones that are just like generic brands that are just made overseas and someone just slapped their name on it. It's smoother, but they don't weed as well. So it's like you kind of have to take the lesser of the two evils. Can you recommend in what order is best to replay your classes for a beginner? Everyone should start with a 30-day training. That if you're trying to learn Silhouette Studio, that is going to be the foundation of basically everything design wise when it comes to what I do. Like all of these things that I pretty much do are done in Silhouette Studio. I will take them into Photoshop to create templates and add like little extras and stuff like that. But the majority of my designs, 93.65% of them start in Silhouette Studio. So Essentials to Silhouette Studio is going to be the starting point. And you want to go through that. We go through each and every tool and function of the software and like what its fundamental uses are. Now, how you use it in a design is going to vary with each design. But Essentials to Silhouette Studio definitely takes you through like this is what we got. Oh wow, there's a lot of them on here. I'm going to open up all of these. Okay, so this is Essentials to Silhouette Studio. That is, like I said, that's where everyone I feel like should start at. Even if you want to use another software, because I like how they're used is basically the same. They may have different names, but it can make it easier when you transition to a different software. We're going to kind of see, and test that theory because I've never used Leonardo. Like I have it open and I'm still get started. I have not done anything on this, and I'm going to go into this and see like what is it that is like the same as maybe a tracing or a subtract or whatever for Silhouette Studio or Photoshop. Now from here, there's a lot of different things. Like from here, it's what is it that you want to do? Like that's the one that teaches you the software. Everything else is taking it to the next level. If you're someone that wants to kind of create vector files, we went through a lot of different ways to make them. We traced so if you saw a picture of an apple, I showed how to go in there and take a picture, and you're now going to manually like trace and create a vector file based off of a real image of, an apple. We made things from shapes and use, subtract, and like all those different things. So like that's a good place to go. So that's about creating vector designs. This one was one where it is still vectorizing, and we took a PNG. It was a lot. This is one where there's a lot of like tracing and understanding tracing, like having to do multiple tracing. There is some creating elements from just shapes. How to separate and like recreate things. So like that is one to where now you're seeing how all of these different tools work together. If you're looking into event decor, this was more so working with JPEGs and PNGs, but it showcases how to put things together, how like understanding composition and layout, and not to make it look too crowded. Well, if this is what you have, you can do X, Y, and Z to kind of get this result. So it starts to help you more so with like designing. And then of course we did have the day where we put everything together, and I went over some tips of, this is why I use this particular glue. I don't use the cheapy glue stick or glue guns because it allows me to do X, Y, and Z. I like this liquid glue because of the bond that it creates. So you're learning about different supplies and materials that you would use to put everything together, like on that last day. But there's a lot of designing, and how you design for each one of these is going to be different because the sizing is different. So if you take the event decor one, even though it's about a chip bag or a banner or a water bottle label, if you look beyond just the event part of it, if you have to go and take a design that you made for a stole, and now you have to figure out how to rearrange this to make it work for a mug, which a stole, you got all this space, and then a mug is just basically a rectangle. Well, do I have to start over from scratch? I have all these elements. How do I rearrange them? So that's the underlying message and the underlying teaching and training in that particular course. Custom text effects. All right, well, do you want to just have plain ones, or do you want to have shadows and highlights and make it look 3D? Do you want to know how to make a bubble effect? Do you want to know how to, take your text and make it have like fades and stuff to it in Silhouette Studio because you're not ready for Photoshop, or you don't want to have to pay monthly for Photoshop? Could it, is it more steps for certain things? Yeah, kind of, sort of, but you can, learn a lot from that, right? So we have ombre effects, bubble effects, 3D layers. So if you're looking, so let's go back to this, right? Someone asked about like making this. Now this name, actually, no, I do have like some shadowing to where things stick out. So I can show you how to do this, and you don't have to have all of this extra to it, right? You could have just went, and on yours, it was just the name, no outline and stuff like that. You're still learning how to do this. But now if you're like, well, I want this to pop a little bit more, well, the training in the text effects class is going to help you with that, because you'll learn how to make your text stand out. So each one just offers, different things. Sublimation seminar, like we went through, like really breaking down sublimation, start to finish, understanding what it really is, how it works, your equipment, understanding like if you do this, this is the result. So there was a lot common mistakes when it comes to printing or troubleshooting. The not so great moments of sublimation, and hey, this can happen if you're pressing to colors, and it was just a hands-on experience. So that's something that's totally different from designing. It's for a specific it's like for like learning sublimation. When we did the oversized sublimation printing, it was about designing it and then how to really break it apart. So like it just really, again, it comes down to what it is that you want to focus on after the basics, right? What type of projects do you want to be able to create? Crash course in designing, we went through like some of the more popular trendy type deals. So we went through intro of designing, understanding composition and layout and how things kind of work. We went into like text only designs, how to pair fonts, how to make them look visually appealing if you're using just the same font, whether you are spreading things out, making something bigger, making something smaller, fitting things into like little nooks and crannies, and how you position them. So that was all text designs. Then we remaking of designs and templates. We went through word art, and that was more so like the word cloud, and that's a website, but then you can take that and then you can utilize it and put it on anything, make it as a background for a shirt, make it as a background for a keychain, a tumbler. So we went through like those, and that's again using something outside of Silhouette Studio. Custom brush strokes, where to find them at, how to trace them, how to fill them with color, fill them with a pattern, to use them so that you don't have like a square look for your sublimation designs. We went through creating posters. I taught about, if you want something to appear far away versus close to you, how to arrange it, how to make the planes that so it's really about designing. So I don't know. This is a good one to because this kind of has a little bit of everything in it. This would probably be a good one to kind of start at, to maybe figure out, okay, well, I want to explore more with SVG. So I'm going to take the SVG one or vector files. I think I like more so working with JPEGs and PNGs. I'm not looking to create my own elements. So let me look into like the event decor one, or one that's just about using JPEGs and PNGs. So hopefully that kind of somewhat helps answer your question. What top two things do you suggest for staying organized in your space? What the hell does that mean? I have no idea because I'm not organized in any way, shape, or form. Ask my husband. I am not the person to ask about organization. I just told him, I was like, when the little one gets out of school, I'm gonna need him to come and earn his pay, and I'm gonna need him to be housekeeping, organization, girl. But no, I mean, we have I have a lot of things, right? I have shelves, and I have the little cubby things, and I have little like the clear boxes, and they call them scrapbook boxes. I got a lot of stuff. That don't mean it stay organized. I mean, I try to like label stuff. I got a lot of drawers. Anything with drawers and anything going up. If you try and put everything at floor level or surface level, it's going to drive you crazy. So I know for me, especially when I was in my other space, I had to create a lot of things going up and just having drawers because I'm not the most organized person. If it was like just open or just bins and stuff like that, it'll just be all over the place. So anything that had a drawer to where I can just throw it in there, that works for me. What works for you organizing might be a little bit different. That's a good question though. I like that. I don't think I've ever been asked that one. It was a fan template a while back that included red and white elements that combine the face of an elephant. I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm sorry. I have no idea. No idea. You would have to have a picture or something like that. I have no idea which one that is, like what you're referring to. Yes, I stopped promoting and creating because no one was buying. Maybe I gave up too quick. It's just about your approach to it. Who are you really? You're saying no one was buying, but how many people were you realistically putting your business out there to? Did you, I hear a lot of y'all come on here and I go to your social medias and I'm like, you ain't post nothing. Like, even if you have a business page and you're sharing to your personal profile from your business page. But some people are saying that, like they're wanting all these orders, but you told no one. I was going to do a whole video about this, right? It came out of nowhere. And everywhere you go, you are seeing that. And it's like, oh, well, they probably have money. I don't have the money. Even if you don't have the money, like being present and just posting all the time. Where are you going out in your local area where you, and I, again, my message has always been the same. I'm very consistent. I don't change with the trends or giving people what they want to hear, because those type of things are timeless, and you cannot let social media be a crutch and that's all you were relying on. How many businesses, how many people on your block knows what you do? I got an order because my mom, she talks me up, and her neighbor down the street came and they wanted shirts. Like the girl's dad was going to go with someone else. Oh, well, no, my neighbor's daughter does all this stuff. She does amazing work, blah, 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 blah. So who knows what is it you're doing? Even locally, the people on your block, if the people within a three block radius don't know what you do and you're not making sales, then that's like on you. You can't just rely on social media. If you're relying on social media, how much content are you really putting out? I asked the other day, how many pictures are you taking? Are you editing your pictures? Some people's like, well, I don't even get pictures. I want to get them done and get them out. So if you don't have pictures to show, like a lot of people, because so many people are doing this, so people feel like they get scammed. So many people steal other people's pictures. Well, I don't know if that was really your picture. If you cannot show me like a bunch of things that somewhat look the same, like my clients can know, like if I go and I'm showing them, hey, this is what I can do. Like I got a bunch of examples of these, like in person, that whether it's in person or I can take pictures to show like, hey, I actually make this quality. It's not one picture on my site, because now if I just see one picture of something or one post with like a bunch of pictures, why you ain't posting nothing like a month from now with this as well? Like, was that your picture? So some people have an issue trusting. So you have to keep putting it out there, keep putting it out there. So if you're not taking pictures of the things that you've made, you're not going to have a lot of credibility when it comes to your audience and them trusting what it is that you can do. If you're not encouraging others to talk about it and tag you and stuff like that, the ones like, you're not going to have that credibility. So it's just about how are you putting it out there to get the sales. um, are you just relying on the word of mouth of friends and family and of your actual customers? You're expecting them to go out and tell somebody, hey, go to this person. I see it all the time, right? Don't get me wrong. I get it. Some people just want to kind of post their work in other groups. So I see tons and tons and tons of times and this is the same that's going to happen with your customers, right? So I don't necessarily get like totally upset with it, but they're using our ink and our paper. They're using our files. They learn how to do it from my class, and they're posting in other craft groups. Now I can see when they're posting it on their page or whatever, they may not say, well, hey, I got this and I learned this from this person or whatever, but because that's not really what their client's looking for. They're looking for recommendations on, okay, well, if you you only worked with the yard signs, but let's say it was your design and you worked with somebody else and they did the shirts. So that person that just did the yard signs, as someone who made your package look great because I provided the shirts, I would expect a little bit of a shout out or something to say, to send some business their way, because you are the yard sign person. You are the fan person. This person is the t-shirt person. Shout them out. But I see in craft groups, lack of better words, all the time, they've used my templates, or the people who made their own versions of this, right? They didn't go buy my template that's only $3.65. Now, I'm going to charge you $3.65. When I go and I create a custom design, my custom designs start out at $23.65. But in the craft world, no one wants to spend $23.65 for a template, but my customers pay for that, or my customers pay $13.65 for a setup fee, but y'all just want to pay $3.65. That's all it costs. So they went and they tried to recreate it in their own way, which there's no problem with that. But it would be nice to at least go and say, thank you for the inspiration. Or when they go in their post and it's like, oh, look what I made, for you to go and say, yeah, I saw, Shakira the Professor, she posted hers. I wanted to try and make it myself, but I saw it from her. Like, because then people think that, they're the originators of designs. Nah, but kitty, they got it from over here. But most customers or consumers, like that person became like a consumer of my content, or they were a consumer of my template. And in where there's other creatives, it would be nice for them to say, well, hey, I made this. I got the template from X, Y, and Z. I made this and my colors are popping because I'm using Honestly Speaking Sublimation paper ink, and for them to share it. But they don't do it. And guess what? Regular consumers aren't trying to run out and go, all right, it's my baby's birthday. Boom, I'm taking pictures, blah, 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 just snapping pictures. And they just got random pictures and they're just going to randomly tag you, or just go like, people aren't normally at a party and they're going to say, well, hey, who gave me this? They're not going to get on the mic. All right, y'all, I want to thank y'all for coming to the party. We're going to thank, my lovely shirts were made by HSINK365. The cake was from, they ain't doing that. They worried about dancing. Now, if somebody happens to remember, hey, I like the shirts that was at your party, that you wore, can you tell me where you got them from? That's different. Normally, you come up in conversation, or your business does, when someone asks about it. But people aren't just volunteering, like just giving it up, unless they're getting something out of it. Now, let's say that they were a brand ambassador for you. Oh, they know they're going to make some money. So, yep, every time I post, yep, I made this and it's with Honestly Speaking paper. It was with this template. It was with that, because they're getting something out of it. If there's no incentive for your customers, they're not looking to just promote you. Like, you ain't paying me to promote you. So you're going to make money, but from me promoting you, but I'm not getting anything out of it. Unfortunately, that is not saying unfortunate, but that's just how this world works. People want something for something. You can't get something for nothing, Oh, the Alabama one? That wasn't red, white, and blue. That was like, oh, I don't know. That was just, if it was that one, I just pulled their picture off of the internet. I don't have a template for that, because that was just, I went online and I just searched for the Alabama one. their logo, and I just put it together. Oh, that's what they're. I'm like elephant. What the heck? And y'all know I don't like Alabama like that. I'm a UM fan, so I don't be checking for them dang on for Alabama that way. So when she said elephant, I immediately went to like, did she mean like the little cutesy elephant? Sure, I wasn't thinking about no elephant. I am you all day, every day. But yeah, if it's that one from Crimson Tide, like I just went online and just Google searched for their mascot, the one that's like the vector mascot, and then I also used the one that was like the mascot in the mascot suit. Let's see. How do you categorize what it is we do? I find myself stumbling when I try to explain what it is I do. Custom designs. Yeah. I mean, this is where maybe scaling back, right? To where it's like, okay, I make custom shirts or you make custom drinkware. So it really is just custom. So you can make, say, custom keepsakes, custom products. That's all it really is, especially if you truly are customizing it. When I go and I see people and they're making like these stepping into Juneteenth, there's nothing customized about that. That becomes more of a novelty item that you really can't buy in store if you're doing stuff like that. So I did a video, I talked about there are things that are customized, personalized, they're keepsakes, they're novelty items, and then there's branded products. So got to figure out where you fit in that. And a lot of people, they're struggling because they're trying to do custom, but also do novelty, or they're trying to do novelty and keepsakes. So you have to be okay with defining that. And this goes back to not jumping on every single thing that you see done in groups, because it takes different brain power for each one of these crafts or these creations. The supplies that you need to do a bunch of like foam board, vending machines, and like the prints and how you design for that is going to be different than what you're going to need to do for a tumbler. So going back and forth, like I lost my mind. Like when people were throwing like monkey wrenches in there, like if I could, I would have done yard signs and fans. I don't want to think about stopping or having to do stoves. Or then that one person wanted cupcake toppers. I'm like, wait, what? Like I'm not trying to fix my brain like and get into cupcake topper mode. I really wish I could have just stuck to maybe fans and yard signs, and that's it. Because doing stoles, doing grad cap toppers, you really have to switch for each one of those. Designing for them, you have to like switch. And not everyone wants their topper like, oh, I'm going off of my experience, right? And it's no shade or to anyone else, but I see people and they will put out templates and it's like literally the same exact thing on the tumbler, the keychain, the stole, the fan, the this, the that. Like it's the same background, the same pictures, the same this, the same that. And some people don't want us, like, I don't know, my customers, I think they appreciate the fact that they come to me because I'm not about to give them the same thing. Like, I want to see it can be maybe the same elements. Okay, I've looked for your school colors. I know those colors. I have your name. I have the pictures. I have the mascot, but how can I arrange them? If you look at like the fan that I did compared to the yard signs, compared to her tumbler, they're all different. She had a stole that had like all of her accolades and accomplishments and some pictures. Her grad cap topper said the princess and the diploma. It had nothing to do with anything that was on the actual stole. So if, some people like templates to have everything just match, but I know for me, I'm having to like really rethink and like reshape this out to design this, and then like to make it, it's like, do I have to change the temperature on this heat press? We had to have both heat presses going. I don't have a setup like I've seen some people set up. It's oh so lovely because they'll have a bunch of different heat presses, and It's like, are you ever using them at the same time? Because if you do, what type of a setup you have on your electrical box? Because I know for us, there's no way we could ever have both Hottronics in this room running because it will knock out the breaker. So having to go back and forth between the heat press here, the heat press that's over there, this one had to be plugged into a different room. That way they're all on different breakers. Like that becomes a lot. We made it happen, but it was a lot. Like it was a lot, y'all. I cannot wait to talk about it. I'm telling you, now break this down and the things I've done graduation season before, but I think being in a space that's dedicated for us to work from, it made me think about what my next space will look like, and that I'm gonna have to have money to have an electrician come in and change up the electrical because I don't want to deal with that anymore. I need all my heat presses to be like on a wall, all lined up, and like I can go from heat press to heat press to heat press. And I'm not trying to do something over here because this one is set to one temperature, and I got to run over to that one because that's set up as another one. God, it drove me absolutely bonkers. It drove me freaking crazy. So if you don't have to stay niche down, but when you're starting and you're struggling with sales, niche down, people. Trust me. Niche down, make that run like a weld oil machine, and then progress and move on. I'm in a smaller space than before. So they said that's me, facts. Let's see. What was your, okay, wait, what was, okay, so for gym shirts, but I got to go back. Oh, about vinyl. So, I mean, there's no, again, even if it's for gym shirts, I've done some that, like I said, my go-to is Caesar. I cannot really speak. I'm not one to wear for certain things. Like I'm trying all these different like brands. It wasn't necessary. Like I haven't had an issue with it. There might be one that might be, better. I haven't seen anyone like any advertisements that's making me like, oh, well, I want to try this. Like for us, some people may say the same thing. Well, I like my paper. I'm not experiencing any issues with it, but I'm also offering something that's different from the rest of them. Any other paper is going to tell you 400 degrees, 385, 55, 60 seconds. I'm telling you that you can do this. No butcher paper required. I don't have to lint brush shirts. You can use less ink. It's 365, 30 seconds. Like to me, like that should be intriguing to at least try it. And we have like a sample pack. For the vinyl, like it pressed. I didn't have, any issues with ever using Caesar, and they lasted. I just didn't feel a need to like jump on the HTV Rond or whatever these like other newer brands are. Like I said, I do want to try Stalls. I did try Thermoflex. I personally did not care for Thermoflex. I just didn't like the way it weaved, especially its glitter. So it just, it just depends. You can make gym shirts with screen print transfers. It's like, if you're doing a lot of them, I would not recommend using vinyl. I'm going to go to the DTFs or to screen print transfers. Yeah, most people in today's day and age is like give and take. They sure won't share that info. I have clients that want to keep me from themselves. That's why I put my logo on everything. Exactly. They'll be too afraid that like you're going to get too busy and you can't handle their orders. Yeah. They not shouting out nothing or nobody without getting something in return. Facts. Thank you, Professor, for the sale and fast shipping. You are very welcome. Hopefully we can have another one tomorrow. You can say customs, novelty, or unique keepsakes. You are very welcome. You are very welcome. My sister does cakes and she wants me to learn how to do toppers. I don't know, sis. For toppers, right? Like there's a bunch of different ways to do toppers, and someone can literally make a business. And let's say you started out doing all this other stuff, right? You can still use sublimation because this is huge. But if I had like a really big cake and I can put like rods on it, this can be a sublimation. This can be a cake topper. There is nothing that says like it has to be made a certain way, right? So now I feel like people say cake toppers, and it's a big trend now to do the layered one. People like to call them 3D. They're just layered, and they have like the little pop dots and stuff like that on, and it's just like layers on top of layers on top of layers. But there's so much more than that. This could literally be a cake topper. I'm gonna put 2 acrylic sticks in it, and you're going to stick this in your cake, and this becomes a topper. You can have a topper that is nothing but cardstock cut, and whether it's a single just a single cut, it's not going to be very sturdy, but or you can mat it and just kind of put your acrylic sticks. You can go and give it a backing. You can make it where it's full color. You can make it to where it's like paper piecing, and it's all these, and you got to use your tweezers, use your little precision glue. Like there's a million ways to make toppers. You can go and start off making paper toppers, and then you can move into doing acrylic ones, or things that you're just going to cut from a laser cutter. You can do UV ones. You can do like just, again, so many different things. And you can have a business where it's like, hey, all I make are toppers. I have economy ones that are nothing but paper. I have ones that are a little bit more fancy because it's going to be acrylic. I have ones that have glue. If you were someone that worked with epoxy and you were doing epoxy tumblers, and now I don't want to glitter and do all these epoxy tumblers, you can still use your epoxy and make certain types of toppers that you can advertise and say, okay, once you take it out of your cake, you don't have to throw it away. It can be used as a display. You're going to, do this and maybe snap off the acrylic, bottom parts, and now you can hang this up or whatever. Like, you can build businesses around one thing. And what it means to add additional streams of income is not, okay, well, I did toppers for weddings. Now I want to do flowers for weddings. Oh, wait, now I want to do other party favors. No, we do toppers. You got to go somewhere else for the other ones. You got paper, you got glitter, you got acrylic, but we do toppers. Like, it's okay. And your additional streams will be, I start off as paper, just with regular colored cardstock. I wasn't using any glitter or anything like that. Then I moved into like printed ones. I can sublimate them. I can do layers, and I'm going to add confetti and all this stuff to it. Then I might get fancy and figure out a way to have acrylic, and I'm going to seal that acrylic with epoxy. But now your topper got moving water in it. And this is what it means to increase like your additional streams of income, because now you can appeal to those who want different types of toppers. Make sense? So if it's not, if you want to work it in, it's not something that like you have to change it, like what you're doing. If you made a fan, you're able to make a topper. Now, if she's referring to toppers where now she wants confetti, and you're like, look, I don't work with no confetti. I don't work with no glitter. You want a topper? This type of topper I can give you. You can still give her what she wants, just not all of the other things. Make sense? We technically do sell, like we have that SKU for 24-inch. It has been sold out. It's so crazy. Now that we're sold out, it's like demand. Like, we literally get this question like at least 10 times a day about when the rolls are going to come back. We're going to do a pre-sale because, again, we're not producing them here. We have to order them from overseas. They have to be shipped over because they're so big. They can't really ship, DDP, like direct to door. They have to come on the ship. I'm on the East Coast. China's way over there. It has to go all the way around around Canada and come down. So it takes like 30, 45 days just in the shipping process. And then, of course, we have to like order them, and they have to get produced and get over here. So they will be back. I'm not going to say they're going to be back anytime, like in like the next like 2 weeks or so. They moved kind of slow, and people weren't really checking for it. Now people are, I think maybe because they went through a lot of it during grad season, or because the Epson printers that are like desktop ones are just like not the move right now. A lot of people are looking more into, getting like the true sublimation printers like the F570. I've seen an influx of people getting those. So we will have that. And I will say that the 17-inch is one that we added to it. We want to get the fast dry as well as the tacky, and not just have the tacky. So the pre-sale for that will be up. At first I said, today or tomorrow. I know I'm probably going to be an emotional wreck tomorrow. I don't know if I actually really want to come in the office, or it might do me some good to come into the office tomorrow, but definitely by Friday, hopefully that pre-sale option will be up for all of the sizes of the rolls. Oh Lord, I was trying to deter you, but then she's like, now you make me really want to get into it. I know how to do epoxy as well. Let me do some research on that because I know a few cake makers. Thank you so much for that. Now, if you're going to, like, again, if you're going to do that and you're going to do the research in it, the amount of research that you put into it, hopefully you're going to put in that much work behind it. And just know that if it's something that's new, and just because you know cake makers can sometimes also be the ones to where, like, hey, well, I want to figure out how to make this myself. I want to try and keep all the profits. What I'm really trying to do in this space of teaching about creative business is making creators understand that time is money. Like, it's a cliche, but like, what does that really mean when people say time is money? You're trying to make it yourself to save literally pennies, a few dollars, but you trying to come out of making your cakes and doing all that stuff to make this topper if it is just you. Now, if your company has someone that is skilled in that area, yes, your company, because you have someone that can do that part of it, can be all one stop. You, if it's just you and you are the main person and the only person, you cannot be everything to everyone. I don't care what anyone tells you. I don't care about, it's going to require some outside help. It's going to require you to pay someone else, and just think of them as an extension. I never understand why people like, well, I want to do everything myself. But if you're trying to build a company and you're going to have employees, you have to pay them. They don't work for free. They don't work for free. So you're going to have to pay them. So you go into another company like, okay, I make the cakes. Let me get the topper from them. So you're going to have to really not just let them see the quality of the work that you do once you kind of master it for toppers. You're going to have help them understand the benefit of going through you versus them trying to make it themselves. So you're going to have to learn how to make them and perfect them, but then you're going to have to learn how to market and sell to either a end consumer who's going to get just a Sam's cake, a Publix cake, and hey, I want a nice little fancy topper for it. And how you market to that end consumer compared to marketing to a cake maker who's doing this all the time is also going to be different. You may have to offer price breaks to someone who's going to give you continual business because this is what they do. I need a matching topper to go with this cake, versus when it comes to just a regular consumer, if they got one kid and they really only go all out, they only need toppers for this kid's birthday, that's an order that you're only going to get once a year if they come to you every single year, versus a cake maker who's making, tons of cakes every single week. And if you're their go-to, then that's, your prices will then change because they're giving you continuous business like daily or weekly or monthly. But an end consumer, they may not want everyone's not putting a topper on a Thanksgiving cake, a birthday cake, a Christmas cake, a St. Patrick's Day cake, a Easter cake. And some people don't want shirts for everything. My cousin just said to me, she was like, get y'all shirts. She was telling us, telling people where to get their shirts for my cousin's baby shower. I was about to say my niece. It's so weird calling like the younger ones like cousins, but my cousin's baby shower, she's really my goddaughter. And so she was like, oh, I figured, you would make your own family shirts. And I'm really not one. I'm like, I'd rather just be cute and wear an outfit. I ain't got to wear a shirt. That's what's like, okay, is it a requirement that we wear matching shirts to the baby shower? Because if that's the case, nah, just give me the name of the person who's making them. I'm going to order them out with everybody else. I don't know why my family thinks just because I make shirts that I'll just make my own. No, if everybody's wearing the same shirts, I might critique their shit. I ain't gonna lie, if it ain't made right, what the hell is this? I mean, they're gonna get my money, but I'm sure they'll be looking like, and don't let it be Sublimation, because them are trying to figure out, okay, so the people that made your shirt, what ink and paper they using? What's their number? Because I'm going over there to take them some of this ink and paper, because the colors on this is not cute at all, and I'm gonna need them to make this a little brighter, baby. So I'm always looking for a business opportunity. Always looking for a business opportunity. But yeah, if you're gonna, a lot of cake makers, it's learning all the different methods and letting them know what's economy, what's going to be like the next tier up, like economy, mid-grade, and then like this is our premium, and then promoting to them what's going to be the benefit of them going through you versus them making it themselves, because a lot of cake makers do try to make stuff themselves. I sure do hope that angry face was by mistake. Sometimes it throws me off when I see the little angry face, like maybe someone hit it on accident. I'm like, what I said to make you mad? I didn't say anything to make anybody mad. I don't think I did. So I don't see any more questions. This is fun. I've missed it. I don't understand how much I missed it. So really, from May, I shut down. I have not done any live Zoom classes. Y'all didn't really see my face since the beginning of May. It's almost a whole month. Feels really good. Really good. All right. But we've been on for an hour and 20 minutes. It's great to have this when I feel like I've been talking for the full hour and 20 minutes. Normally I'm like it's like pulling teeth to get you guys to like either comment, like it doesn't have to be a question, like just even a discussion of like a topic of discussion. And it felt like pulling teeth when y'all didn't see my face and it was just the screen. Like I didn't even have a question for the screen today. Like I didn't have to go to anything for Silhouette Studio. So this has been amazing. This is back in the always an hour and 20 minutes we have been on. So thank you guys so very much for that. Our ink is always for sale. Now, is it on sale? We never have a sale going on. Now, we may have a promo for it, when the heat win, but it's always on sale and for sale on our website, shop.hsink365.com. Now, whether or not there is an additional discount on our already amazing prices compared to other people on the market, not right now. If the heat win tonight, then, if you want to try and wait until tomorrow, they may not win. So you never know. But it's very much so worth its weight in ink. But you can go to the website, and if you want to wait until tomorrow or wait till tonight to see if the heat win, you can do that, and then it will be a discount on tomorrow. It's about to pour down rain in here. Thank you for dropping the peacocks, Jesse. Thank you so very much. Oh, wait, I just noticed that you had peacocks on the end of yours as well. Thank you guys for dropping the peacocks. Oh, I didn't even hit on that one. All right, y'all. Until next time, have a great one. Continue to unlock your creativity. Visit the website, shop.hsink365.com. Make sure that you are subscribed. You know what, though? What I will say, pause real quick. I grew in more followers with me not. So I know that I'm going to get a phone call after this, but I was watching the numbers for my social media, not social media. What do people call my YouTube? And I literally jumped 200 subscribers in this month when I'm really on here actively, like the subscriber count doesn't go up. So I'm like, maybe I need to take a month off more often. I don't know if it's like because I was on here so much, I'm not giving not giving others time to like really digest the other content. But my Silaholics Anonymous YouTube grew 200 subscribers in a month. And sometimes it takes a little minute to get 200 people to actually hit subscribe. Like they'll watch, but they're not subscribing. So I was like, oh, wow. It's kind of awesome. But make sure that you guys subscribe if you check it, because you'll be surprised. I was surprised. There are some channels that I absolutely love, and I'm always seeing their content, and I didn't realize I wasn't subscribed. So I'm on their analytics as non-subscriber views. So make sure you guys hit subscribe. You hit the notification bell so that you are notified when I go live. And I will say, if over the next month, if I don't hit 200 subscribers, in June, like I did in May, I have to stop giving y'all so much content. Uh-oh. I didn't realize I had that. That's all. I felt like my grandmother. My grandmother used to always have that white line from talking too much. But thank you guys. Peace.